E, reconvene to open session. It's 6:25. Moving on to F, announcements of actions taken in closed session. None. And now we're going to move on to presentations, item G. G1, highest attendance for month 3, which is Mains Elementary School. Lisa Ramirez. She outside right now?
Alrighty.
Where is Miss?
So I can go ahead and present it. So we're having a monthly high attendance for the month. And so this is very exciting because it gets our students very excited at all of our schools. And so we're competing to see who has the highest attendance. So usually what we're doing is we're kind of like passing the baton. Month by month, what we're doing is looking to see who had the highest attendance, and then which school may be the new school that has the next highest attendance. So we pass like the baton. Well, in this case, the nice thing is that we have the same school who earned the highest attendance for the 3rd month, and not that I'm being biased because, but you know, it gives me great honor to have Ms. Noriega come forward. Mains Elementary School is our school with a 3rd and
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And so there is no need to pass it from one administrator to the other because it's Ms. Noriega. And so we'll show it off. And I'll have Ms. Noriega do the honors. Let's give Mays another big round of applause. Also, as part of the recognition, there's a banner that goes with it. And so those banners will be on display. So that way, all of our community can see that Mains is doing an excellent job when it comes to the attendance. So once again, thank you very much to our Mains staff. Thank you. And I'm sure that we'll be working very hard for month 4 as well.
Congratulations. Moving on to G2, student representatives. Starting off with Rhoda Sarai Gonzalez.
Testing.
Yeah, there it is.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Board of Education, Acting Superintendent and Administration. I'm Andy Gonzalez. Now for the month of November, because I wasn't able to attend last time, we had a picture party for the students returning the pink slip for the LCFF in the first week. Now for the report of November, or December, my bad. The Eagle Sense and myself, and with Mr. Martin. Directly to the front. Alright, thank you. Now for the month of December, the Eagles Nest and myself with Mr. Moreno have planned that starting the 19th of December, we will have the staff versus student kickball team, which is staff versus students, which should be fun to watch. Then on the 20th, we have the ugly sweater dance, which we will provide food and beverages for those who would join us. At the end, we will have the contest of the most horrifying sweater. Who will have it? I don't know. Well, let's see. And on the 21st, we will have the awards assembly with the help from Medina's Blues Band, who will be playing at the assembly. And that is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. From the Calexico High School, Daniela Cortez.
Is it on? I don't think it's on with me.
Testing. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, staff, parents, and students. My name is Daniela Cortez, and I am Calexico High School student representative. And I will be listing some of the events we have held at Calexico High School. To begin with, ASB held their first annual canned food drive, which began November 4th and ended November 17th. It was a fourth period competition in which first place received a complete pizza party, including chips and beverages. Mr. Oseguera's fourth period won with a total of 543 cans. As a whole, ASB was able to donate 3,500 cans to the Imperial Valley Food Bank. For the month of December, ASB is holding a pocket change gift drive. This drive began December 4th and will end on the 19th of this month. ASB's mission is to collect $1,920 in order to buy Christmas gifts for 2 students from each grade, starting from pre-K to 6, with the lowest income of each Calexico Unified School District elementary school. And if you'd like to donate, please do so. On December 8th, ASB held a Battle of the Classes pep rally in which a class competition was held. This event was a Candyland-themed pep rally, and it had several games and entertainment such as cheer, drill, drumline. Seniors took the win. On December 15th, ASB will be uniting with Avid and Circle of Friends for a Christmas luncheon being held for special education students at the Calexico High School 9th grade campus. This event will be held tomorrow during lunch, and we will have food and several activities for our special education students. This week was senior week, and Monday was pajama day. Tuesday was, I don't remember what Tuesday was. Okay. And Wednesday was Bad and Boji, which was dress fancy or rock star. Today was ugly Christmas sweater day, and tomorrow is neon day. And finals will be held December 19th and 20th, and students will be released at 1:40. The CHS Theater Company will be having their winter play this Saturday and Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m. at the Rodney Auditorium. So if you would like to attend, tickets will be sold for $5. And our senior Christmas event will be held next Thursday, December 21st, and parents are invited to the morning ceremony and may enter Varner Gym at 10 o'clock a.m. And our winter break will start December 22nd. Thank you for your attention, and may you all have an amazing winter break and a happy holiday.
Now from our 9th grade campus, Johnny Valenzuela. Well, it's not Johnny, but
Johnny couldn't come. He had a dentist appointment. My name is Aldo Madrigal. Good evening. My name is Aldo Madrigal, and today I will be talking about the past events in December and the upcoming events for 2017 and 2018. First up, I want to talk about the Thursday's games we've done. The first Thursday's games we've had is Guess the Flavor of the Candy Cane. Participants were blindfolded and they had to guess the flavor of the candy cane. The second game we had was Gingerbread House Creation. 2 teams of 3 generated a gingerbread house, and one of them with the best creation won. Next Thursday, we're planning to have a game called Find Santa. Someone will dress up as Santa and hide with treats along his side. The first duo to find him will win the treats has with him. Last month, during November, we held a successful food drive. The class who donated the most cans won a pizza party. This Friday, we are going to have a Circles of Friends luncheon along with the games. We've also planned a pep rally with a winter Disney theme. Thank you for your time and have a good evening.
thank you. Now from Enrique Camarena, it's Adrian Campos, but Ian is here for this place.
Good afternoon, board members. Enrique Camarena students have been working actively in school activities. We have a canned food drive, candy cane contest, counting contest, and a parent picnic, as well as Spirit Week. We will have the finals next Tuesday and Wednesday, and we will also have our winter game competitions.
Thank you. And now from Willie Moreno, Brianda Montaño.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brianda Montaño, and I am a part of ASB in Willa Moreno Junior High. Today, I will share with you the events we have planned for the month of December. On December 1st, we had our first noon activity of the month. For this game, students had to grab a paperclip with a candy cane and go to the opposite side and put it in a cup. Whoever had most paper clips in the cup won, which were the 7th graders. Our annual toy drive started December 5th and ends on December 19th. Students bring a new unwrapped toy and receive a free uniform bracelet. We also have a door decorating contest which started December 1st and ends on December 8th. Our theme is Christmas movies. On December 11th, we started our Christmas Spirit Week. December 11th, Elf or Santa Hat Day, December 12th, Ugly Sweater Day, December 13th, Disney Day, December 14th, Pajama Pants Day, December 15th, Formal Friday. We will also be having our winter formal parent picnic and pictures with Santa on that day. On December 21st, we are having our annual reindeer games, which students get to participate in kickball, softball, capture the flag, basketball, music in the quad, and karaoke. Those are all the activities we have for the month of December. Thank you.
G3.
All right, so for Aurora, always Students of the Month recognitions are always very exciting that we can, definitely celebrate the great efforts. From Aurora, our first Student of the Month is Ashley Soltero.
All right, little interview I had with her. Her future plans after graduating from Aurora Continuation School. Her plans are to continue her education through the internet known as Acelis, which IVC provides. We all know and love IVC. After that, she's gonna, for exactly 2 years, she's planning on working studying as a forensic scientist. Pretty sure we all know what they do. Pretty sure we all seen CSI Miami. Yes, no? Well, they're the ones that study the body after it's been decomposing and see what caused the way of death any other way. But after that, she's also planning on working as a hobby as her graphic designing. That is all for her. Thank you very much.
And our next Student of the Month from Aurora is Ricardo Figueroa. All right, go ahead. Do we have our parents here? Okay, great. Okay. Go ahead, you can begin with a bio.
Hello? Oh, there we go. Oop, my bad. And again, thank you. Testing. This is Ricardo Figueroa's short bio. His plans after Aurora. His plans are to go to IVC for a 4-year term or study. He plans to become a nurse and then transfer to a medical school that focuses on it. The reason for doing this is because he wants to practice in medicine and also study the human body. His interests are because of his family members that work in the medical branch. And his second plan is either to work as a pharmacist technician. And that is all for his bio. Thank you.
Testing. Okay. All right. Moving on to Calexico High School. First student of the month, Lorna Avila Figueroa. Please come up. Congratulations. And are your parents here? All right, parents, come on down.
Lorna Avila is a senior at Calexico High School. She is involved in extracurricular activities as member of MESA, CSF, and is currently the vice president of Yearbook Club. She also played varsity tennis this past fall season. Lorna was recognized with the Coaches Award and the San Diego Union Tribune Scholar Athlete Award at the Fall Sports Banquet. Lorna's dream is to attend the University of California at Los Angeles and major in environmental engineering. Her overall GPA is a 4.24, and as a senior currently holds a 4.67. She is currently ranked number 3 in her senior class. Lorna would like to thank all... She's my best friend. She's my cousin too. Okay. She would like to thank both her parents for all their support and they have given her. She would not be the person that she is now. Her parents have taught her hard work and dedication that is key to being a successful person. Lorna is also thankful for her teachers and friends' involvement through her academic career. Her teachers and friends have been supportive in her goals, including me. Thank you, Lorna.
And our next student of the month from Calexico High School, we have Alan Palomares. Please come up.
Alan Palomares is a senior at Calexico High School. He is involved in extracurricular activities as a member of the chess, ping pong, and robotics club. He enjoys building things, especially with his robotic club peers. He describes his team members as great individuals. Alan would like to attend UCSB, which is University of California at Santa Barbara, or the University of California at Irvine, and major in aerospace engineering. His dream is to design airplanes for an aeronautical company. He is currently enrolled in 6 advanced placement courses: AP Spanish Language and Culture, English Literature, American Government, Calculus, Biology, and Computer Science. His current overall GPA is a 3.93, and as a senior, he holds a 4.8. In his free time, he enjoys having fun with his friends and spending time with his family. He believes that family is the most important thing in life. His hobbies consist of running and playing soccer, chess, and ping pong. Congratulations.
And from Calexico High School 9th grade campus, we have Brittany Coronel. And if your parents can please come up as well. Thank you.
Brittany would like to study medicine and go to UCR and become a pediatrician. Her favorite classes are biology, math, and Spanish. She likes to play volleyball and was a part of our team. In her free time, she enjoys practicing volleyball. Her favorite teachers this year are all of them. She would like to thank her parents for raising her right, pushing her to the limits, and being great parents.
Also, student of the month from Calexico High School 9th grade campus, Isaac King. Please come up with your parents.
Isaac will come.
Parents, are the parents here? Family?
Testing. Isaac would like to become a computer engineer. He would like to attend either Harvard, UC San Diego, or Massachusetts Institute of Technology. His favorite classes this year are Mesa, Algebra 1. Isaac likes to research for his career for his future. Isaac really enjoys being in Mr. Pena's and Miss Sesma's class. Isaac would like to thank his father and mother as it is because of them he is doing so well in school.
And from Enrique Camarena Junior High School, first student of the month, Belen Campos. Please come up with your family.
Belen is an 8th grader who is the daughter of Yesenia and Alfredo Campos. Belen is an ASB representative at Enrique Camarena Junior High School. During Belen's spare time, she likes to read and play with her little brother. Her favorite subjects are science, language arts, and history. When Belen graduates, she wants to go to UC Irvine and become a teacher. Belen would like to thank her family because they are always supporting her. Her family says never give up and they always encourage her. Her goal was to be District Student of the Month thanks to her family.
And also from Enrique Camarena Junior High School, student of the month, Brandon Nava. Please come up with your family.
Brandon is an 8th grader who is the son of Maria and Alfonso Nava. Brandon's favorite hobbies are playing video games, watching YouTube videos, and reading books like Percy Jackson and Harry Potter. Brandon's favorite subject is math. When Brandon graduates, he wants to become a video game creator because he enjoys playing video games. Brandon would like to thank his parents because they push him to get good grades and be the best student he can.
And moving on from Willie Moreno Junior High School, first student of the month, Samantha Alvarez. Please come up with your family.
Our 7th grade district student of the month is Samantha Alvarez. Samantha is daughter of Maribel Moreno and she has one sister named Destiny. Samantha's favorite subject on William Moreno is literature and writing with Miss Carrillo. Some of her other favorite things are pizza, the colors blue and burgundy, any type of music, and Chevrolet Corvettes. Her dream destinations include the cities of Paris, London, and New York. Samantha's role model is her mother, and when she grows up, she wants to be a translator. Her short-term goals are to keep her straight A so she can get advanced courses as a freshman and also make more friends. In the future, besides being a translator and going to college, she would love to travel around the world. We hope your dreams come true, Samantha. Samantha, job well done.
And also student of the month from Willie Moreno Junior High School, Esmeralda Guerra. Please come up with your family.
William Moreno's student of the month is 8th grader Esmeralda Guerra. Esmeralda is daughter of Manuel and Lilia Guerra. She has one sister, Lilia. Esmeralda's favorite class is math with Miss Zavala, and her favorite food is barbacoa. Her favorite color is red, and she enjoys all music with the exception of pop. She dreams of owning a Volkswagen Mini and traveling to the Danube ribbon in Europe, Cancun, and Mexico City. Esmeralda's role models are her parents and sister. She hopes to study engineering or perhaps become a paramedic. She's not sure. She knows she's college bound though. She wouldn't mind attending UCLA, Purdue, or even MIT. She wishes to maintain her 4.0 GPA so she can get good classes next year, and in the future she wants nothing more than to have a good paying job so she can travel the world with her family. Best of luck in the pursuit of your dreams, Esmeralda. You're off to a great start.
So, congratulations again to all of our students of the month. We're very proud of your accomplishments. Keep up the good work. And also, we'd like to congratulate our parents because we know that you're there making sure that they do what they need to do, be on task, assignments. And so congratulations to you as well. So thank you. And now we're going to move on to our employee recognitions. And so we're going to go ahead and begin with Dual Elementary School with Ms. Joanne Hansen.
Hi, good evening. We have two employees that we would like to recognize. Our first is Mr. Bowen. Mr. Bowen isn't here, but we have somebody here to accept his recognition. So if you don't mind coming up, we're so happy to have you here. We would like to show a video of a student saying what she sees with Mr. Bowen.
What makes Mr. Bowen so special is that when he's teaching, he makes sure everyone is learning. And like for example, if someone's not learning, he goes up to them and he makes sure that they learn the lesson. He shares his experiences that has happened to him on the past and he gives advice to us so we don't make the same mistakes he did he's a funny teacher. He makes jokes and stuff, but he makes sure we're learning. I know he wants the best life for us and he wants a future for us. That's why he does things he do, so we can learn from them. So that's what makes Mr. Bowen so special.
We have various videos that are there so that Mr. Bowen and his family can see the different things that we appreciate about him. But we definitely see a difference with the students when they go into his classroom, not only in their academics, but also in their perseverance. So thank you, Mom of Mr. Bowen, for your inspiration as well in being here and representing. Our next employee that we will be recognizing is Miss Ureña. Miss Ureña, if you'd like to come up. One thing you should know about Miss Ureña is you never compete with her for a Halloween costume. And with Miss Ureña, we also have the same thing. Miss Vanessa Lopez prepared this with students, and she created a flip grid for each of them. And so for Miss Ureña, she is a flower among a lot of flowers, but with her flowers, she shines so bright. She doesn't show off how bright she is, but we all see it. It's inevitable. So this is a video of two people. First is Ms. Galaviz, who she currently is with, and then Ms. Vanessa Lopez.
Mrs. Ureña is very special to Dual School because she's very helpful and creative. She's an asset not only to Dual but to SDC class and to Calexico Unified School District. I'm very thankful that I get to work with her.
And the next one.
Hi, Letty. Congratulations on being recognized for your hard work and effort with students at Dual Elementary School. I'm so proud of you, and I consider myself beyond fortunate for having spent those 7 years in the STC classroom working side by side with you, learning from you as you introduced me to the world of special education, specifically the special day class setting. I learned so much. I learned that empathy and love is so important, equally, if not more, than the academic portion of the work that we do as educators. Your patience, your love, your understanding, your ability to connect with students was just a fantastic thing to see, how it was so innate in your person. You had just this ability to understand what students needed and just delivered all the time. I'm so happy to see that as the years have gone by, that level of excitement, of commitment, of love for what you do has not diminished at all, but remained constant, if not just developed further and further. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy to have spent all those years next to you and continuing as you grow and you continue to be a blessing in the lives of all of our students. Congratulations.
Here, here.
Congratulations again to Mr. Bowen and Ms. Ureña. Let's give her another big round of applause. And now moving on to employee recognitions at Enrique Camarena Junior High School, Mr. Romero.
Good evening, members of the board, Acting Superintendent Mr. Gonzalez, members of the community. Tonight I have the pleasure and opportunity to share with you two very special employees at my school site, Enrique Camarena Junior High School, in recognition of their talents and hard work. The following teacher is one of our up-and-coming teachers, and by that I mean she is young, she is energized, and she is ready to do great things for our students. She is Ms. Ortiz. Please come forward. Ms. Ortiz is a very positive addition to our English language arts team. She is a leader, she is an innovator, she involves herself in extracurricular activities, and in a very short time she's become a veteran, respected teacher among her peers. When Ms. Ortiz speaks, she has my attention because her next words are always a solution to a problem, and I appreciate that about you. Ms. Ortiz has a promising career ahead of her, and we are very pleased to have her on board. Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. Next is a gentleman that inspires confidence in me and the entire team. I know that as long as he is at the site, I've yet to deal with a situation that he cannot handle. The man is resourceful and ready to act and or resolve any situation that occurs when no one else is around. Mr. Lopez, please come forward. I value this man's input. The teachers appreciate your work ethic. Continue doing good things for work, Mr. Lopez, and thank you for caring for our school by evidence of your quality of work. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Congratulations again to all of our employees who have been recognized tonight. Thank you very much for your dedication, for your hard work. It's greatly appreciated. Congratulations again. We're going to take a 5-minute break at this point, and so we'll reconvene in 5 minutes for cake and coffee in the hall. Thank you.
Your break. You guys ready? We'll start off with H, comments from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to an item on the agenda or any other item of district business that is not on the agenda. Start off with Victor Carrillo.
Good evening, Honorable Board, Mr. President, and members of the Board of Trustees, along with Carlos Gonzalez, the interim or acting superintendent. Congratulations to the appointment. I'm Victor Carrillo. I live here in Calexico, 2156 R. Carrillo Court. I'm representing CR&R, one of the trash collection companies and environmental waste in the Imperial County, along with Allied Republic. We were one of 3 companies that bid 2 years ago in reference to providing services to the Calexico Unified School District. The board selected Lucky, and they had been in operation from September 1st, 2016, providing the removal and disposal of solid waste and recyclable materials as well. Well, over the fall, or since September, the owner of the company, Mr. Ed Mealy, and his wife have been in negotiations with CR&R to sell their equipment. And that was culminated at the end of November, and as a result, by December 1st, we had officially taken over the waste collection for them with their contracts throughout Imperial Valley for individual businesses or private residences as well. And one of those was the Calexico Unified School District, at least to provide you service until the board or the district decides what they want to do in the future as far as whether going out to bid again or just continuing with a contract on a month-to-month basis and then making that decision. We were hoping that the paperwork that was transmitted after December 1st would have given your legal counsel an opportunity to review for your benefit, et cetera, but we understand with the holidays and what have you coming up that it was best to push it back to January, which we're in agreement with. But we have been providing the services to the 15 sites that are under the contract with Lucky, as far as the different school sites and the district offices and what have you. There was one glitch at the outset at Rockwood School where there were a couple of privately owned vehicles blocking the area to pick, and so once we were able to communicate that to the school site administrator, those vehicles were moved and we were able to pick that up and even start earlier in the day at 5 in the morning to come into Calexico. We have 35 trucks at our disposal to service our 5 cities in the Imperial County that we have contracts with and special districts like the Heber Public Utility District. And so we have drivers that are dedicated to Calexico as well as the trucks. And so other than that, I'll be open to any questions you may have regarding the company or the service or the takeover of Lucky as far as that aspect. They'll continue on with their recycling business under Ed Mealy, and so we wish them well and we wish the district well.
I do have one question. The staff also came with the equipment, or you have new staff working the equipment?
I'm not sure. I think that staff stayed with Lucky to do other duties as assigned, but we did purchase all of their equipment, their trash bins, their containers, etc. I'm not sure if any of those drivers, they may have had 1 or 2 drivers.
And the reason I'm asking is because they have to apply for clearances to come to our site. So that's all. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, well, our drivers are fingerprinted and go through clearance.
Well, it's just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
process. It's
right.
a process.
So if that's the case, tomorrow I'll report that to find out what happened to the driver and if the drivers that we have clearance.
All right. That's important. It's
Okay.
safety of our kids.
Okay, yeah, because the clearance has been through the sheriff's department, and so that would be applicable countywide.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next is Juan Flores.
Good evening, Board of Directors, people of the public, and CSCA employees in the crowd. My name is Juan Flores. I'm the new LRR Labor Relations Representative for the for the California Schools Employees Association that's assigned to Imperial Valley. Calexico is one of the 13 other districts that I work with throughout Imperial. And I must say, given the comments that were given from our colleagues, in the time that I've been here, the short time that I've been in negotiations, the trust and the collaboration that's been happening throughout those sessions has been fruitful and has been continuous. And as we've hit these minor roadblocks, as our members have personified earlier today and stated in their statements, I just want to make sure that CACA trusts that the board is confident and will make the proper direction towards the representatives of the district to be able to come to an agreement and to be able to close out negotiations for us. Our importance as an organization is for our members to be able to secure a contract, to be confident that that contract is going to be alive for 2 or 3 years, and that they don't have to meddle with these situations and negotiations, and they can go back to providing services for the district. As you mentioned, the students are a priority here, and for CSCA, our priority is the students. But also, we want to make sure that our members are taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item I, consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon by one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled for separate consideration and action.
I'd like to pull out I-15 and I-16.
I'll make the motion to approve items I and 14. Second.
Motion by Mr. Castillo, second by Mr. Romero. All those in favor? For items I-1 through I-14. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved by Romero, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself, Alvarado.
Carlos, if we have on I-15, if this is a out-of-state conference, why did you put it in the consent agenda? Why didn't you bring it up to approval?
That's something that's going to be discussed at a later time. For right now, we'll go ahead and could we discuss that right now, or?
No, that's,
okay,
yeah.
perfect.
I-15. Well, the question is, why wasn't this in J, will we approve everything else? Why did you guys put it on the consent agenda?
I think this item has come before the board, and specifically in the consent, and it's been pulled before and it has been discussed.
Okay.
So it's not the first time we do bring it.
Okay. Well, I move to table this item for to later notice. I don't know whenever the board feels like.
Can it be dealt with now? I mean, several months ago, we said that we should keep out-of-state travel in a regional area. Chicago is way out there, and I wonder about the necessity of that. There should be regional trainings that could do the same thing.
Right. I think what happens is when it comes to East, it is the premier conference when it comes to technology. And when it comes to these particular conference, they offer things sometimes that they don't at the more regional level. One of the things that we've benefited from, particularly by attending, the national level, is that we've been able to find keynote speakers, for example, that are excellent, and we've been able to actually bring them down here for our own district teachers to be able to listen to, cutting edge technology or anything that is related to improving, instruction specifically when it comes to technology as well. So we're only sending 2 people. We're sending our IT, in this case, director, which is involved with the instructional programs, which is Mr. Padilla, and then we're also sending Mr. Eduardo Perez, who deals with the more technical component. And so what we are hoping is sending them to this particular conference, so that way they can look to see what's cutting edge and bring it back to us. So we're not sending a whole team, we're just sending 2 that we feel are the people that would be most adequate to send. The other thing with this particular conference is, unfortunately, it moves around, but it's not going to be close to us, I think in about until 3 years from now, which is going to be back in San Diego. So it's jumping around from Texas to Chicago to Seattle to Philadelphia until it comes back to us. And so that's the reason that we are very interested in sending just 2 of our staff that have proven to bring a lot of that information back to us.
Thank you.
I would just add as well, I'm just being familiar with this event. Oh, is this on? Okay. Yeah, I think it doesn't come to the East or West Coast very often anymore, as it used to. It's more on the East Coast. But being the premier conference, Carlos described it pretty well, being a premier conference, not just nationally, but internationally, because you get international presenters. I think, we've heard and talked about on the board the desire and goal for being more technology-driven, exploring those possibilities for our own schools. The professional development that we've had this year and hopefully continue with, and trainings that we're seeing in their districts, a lot of that information is coming from speakers here, information here, resources. So this is the premier event where we gather that information and bring it back. So I've attended in the past in other capacities, and there's nothing that compares to this one.
Okay, I move that we approve I-15.
Motion by Romero, second by Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye. All those in favor, Romero, Castillo, Alvarado? No. Voting against is Calderon and Calderon Jr. Passes 3-2. Moving on to I-16.
Well, I-16, I just thought it should be under J and not in the consent agenda, that's it.
For the I-16?
Yeah, I-16.
Yeah,
right?
I-16.
Yeah, that.
It's a yearly thing we bring.
Yeah, but I
every
just
year.
thought it will be better in the J section and not I. That's it. No, but it's nice that it's being brought up to us this early, so they can make preparations and do all those things. So I move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed by Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself. Moving on to J, information items. Acting Superintendent's report.
So I'd like to report, and gives me great pleasure. We had recently our Armstrong Rojas dedication ceremony at Calexico High School over at Ward Field, and it was very, very touching. It was very special. We had the family there for the Rojas family, the Armstrong family. We had great speakers, and I'd like to, thank Mr. Ray Alvarado for saying beautiful things on behalf of Mr. Armstrong and Mr. Rojas, and also Mr. David Obeso for saying some beautiful things on behalf of both of them as well. These 2 gentlemen are an icon in our community. They definitely help shape and build our community, and honestly have made our community a much better place. And so just like to report that. Also, I'd like to report that today we kicked off our AR assemblies, and I always like to give credit where credit is due, and like to thank Mr. Lorenzo Calderon. He had a vision a few years back, and it's come to fruition, and our kids get incredibly excited. Today we were at Cesar Chavez, and you could feel the energy and the excitement with our students, with our teachers, with our parents as well. And so just like to thank Mr. Calderon for spearheading that. and making it such an awesome experience for our kids. On another note, just I think something to mention, two of our local teams are making history. We have two state championships, as I know our local historian, Mr. John Moreno, will remind me. And this is something that's never happened in the past, where we have two state championship games being played within 12 miles of each other. So we have Southwest Eagles playing for Division 4 championship on Saturday at 6 p.m. Division 3, I'm sorry, thank you. And we have Vincent the Scots playing Division 6 state championship. And the cool thing about it is they're playing it in our very own Ward Field. And so when when we talk about the Rojas Armstrong dedication and we talk about, it being at Ward Field, we're going to have a lot of folks that are going to be out there and they're going to be looking at the different dedications that we have there for our community members, which is excellent. And then just lastly, Christmas break is right around the corner. And so our last day for our students is December the 21st, Thursday, and we resume classes on January the 8th. And so with that, we'd like to, wish everybody a restful, Christmas break. And I'm sure that you'll be energized and ready to come back in January. So safe travels if you travel anywhere, but have a great break. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to J2, Measure V update.
Good evening, trustees. Tonight for our Measure V update, Mr. Sanders is going to make a presentation as we have an item on the agenda for approval in regards to the specifications for our modular buildings, and he was in here. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to clean my glasses. So at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Sanders to come and make his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight the floor plan schematics, or the design schematics for the modular building. Our first slide that we have for presentation is just for reference, shows our existing campus and all the relocatables that we have on the campus. The second slide, as we have presented in the past, and no changes to this overall plan, is to provide a 16 classroom unit, a 12 classroom unit, a 16, and a 20 classroom unit. So again, no changes to our proposed site plan. So we have several floor plans to show you tonight. We're going to show you the 12 classroom modular building, the 16 classroom modular building, and the 20 classroom modular building. So starting now with our 12 classroom modular building, they're all very similar, but there are some unique features about each building. So this building, because it is a modular unit and there's 12 classrooms, so we'll have 6 classrooms or we're proposing to have 6 classrooms on the first floor and 6 classrooms on the second floor. Now these classrooms in the beige color there, those are standard sized classrooms that we're proposing with this unit. We have a center corridor. So the corridor is the classroom doors open to that center corridor, right? These are the classroom doors and they open to the corridor. At each end of the building we have our staircases, and the staircases are external. So you'll see on the exterior elevations that we have exterior steel staircases. And then here's our elevator that's required for ADA. And then there are some unique features about this building. So this space in the middle here, which is what we call our support space. Now, in order to build these modular buildings, when you do that on the first floor, you'll see that we have to do that on the second floor. So typical space for that unit there is we have an electrical room, a data room, a supply room, and then we have a custodial room here, and then this space here is shared by the instructors. So we have a space that can be used for instructor preparation and collaboration. And then over here in the corner, we have faculty restrooms and a break room, faculty break room. So we'll show you some enlarged plans to show you what the features are of each one of these typical classrooms. That's our 12 classroom unit. And then moving to that was the first floor, and this is the second floor. So of course our classrooms are going to stack, our stairs are going to stack, and our support space also stacks. So our electrical room stacks, right? So all of our sub panels that are on the first floor, we'll have sub panels on the first floor, and then up on the second floor, and then we'll have a data room that will also stack, and then we have a supply room, a janitor or a custodial room here, and then again we have our faculty or instructor collaboration and support space. So this is the proposed 16 classroom unit. Now this unit would be, I would remind you that this is proposed to be the first unit at the north side of No Name Field, or goes in the location of the existing student parking lot. Okay, and this modular unit would have 8 classrooms on the first floor and 8 classrooms on the second floor. The stairs are in the same location. Again, we have an elevator at the east end. We have also at the east end we have a faculty break room and faculty restrooms. And then our support spaces are the same as in the 12 classroom modular unit, where we get on the first floor. Again, we have electrical, data, and supply, and then a custodial room here, and then we have a shared faculty preparation collaboration area. Now I would point out that as an option, when we bid these out with your direction, we can provide one additional module in this unit, and so instead of having this support space here in the middle, we could put it here and here, and what that would allow us to do would allow us to provide additional spaces for that faculty preparation area if you find that is something that would be valuable for the district. So I'd point out that right now this classroom and this classroom have that shared space, but you'll note that these classrooms here at the end, they don't have a space like that, right? So we can do that if you like that option. This is our 16 classroom second floor plan, and again it's stacked, same as the first floor. Now this next slide shows our 20 classroom building. Now for our 20 classroom building, we actually have room to do some oversized classrooms. So what we show here is there are 10 classrooms total. And 2 of those classrooms are oversized classrooms. So when we have our programming meetings and decide actually who goes in each one of these classrooms, if it's determined that we need some oversized classrooms, then we have the option to be able to provide those oversized classrooms in the 20 classroom building. Same features on the 20 classroom building as the 16 and the 12, in that we have exterior staircases, elevators, we have faculty restrooms and support space at the end. And this is the second floor of the 20 classroom unit, and as you can see, all of our buildings are modular and they stack. So whatever we do on the first floor, we do on the second floor. So this slide shows an enlarged floor plan, so you can see what a typical lecture layout would look like. Now, I'd point out that we've selected or are proposing to have student desks that can be used in a lecture layout, or it can be used in a collaboration layout. So you can see here, we can take those same desks that you see in the lecture layout, and they can be broken down, and you can use them for a collaboration layout. So you can see how a classroom can lay out. So typical features of a classroom include we have an AV package with all the latest AV equipment. You'd have plastic laminate casework, uppers and lowers, classroom sink. We have a space for up to 34 desks in the room. We show 30 here, but you can easily fit 34. We have a designated area for instructor's desk. With these classrooms, it's only required that there be one door because they're a standard sized classroom. Moving on to our collaboration layout. Of course, it has all the same features. You're just able to take the standard desk layout and adjust those into a collaboration style teaching environment. But all of the same features in either one of those classrooms. So typical interior elevations. We have a exterior window. All of the classrooms will have exterior windows for natural light. There's our plastic laminate casework, uppers and lowers with a classroom sink. We have sliding marker boards on 2 walls so that there's lots of space for the instructors to provide instruction in a standard stand and delivery type method, or if you're using a more of a collaboration type method, you have lots of a whiteboard space on the walls. The finishes include typical school style finishes, which is hollow metal doors and frames, dual glazed windows. That would all be part of the modular project. So this next slide shows a typical section, so we can see how we're proposing to construct these modular buildings. So the modular building itself would be made out of steel. It'd be a steel framed unit. There'd be a steel framed roof system and a steel framed floor system. We'd have suspended seating, which is what we have here and what we have in typical classrooms. We're proposing a PVC membrane roof for the roofing system. All the mechanical units would be mounted up on the rooftop, so you wouldn't see any mechanical units down on the ground. This also shows our exterior steel stairs on each end of the building. So we're proposing a standard modular type system of construction. And our last slide shows our exterior elevations. So the finished materials on our exterior elevations include the acrylic plaster finish. We have a concrete wainscot that wraps the outside, and then we're also proposing as an accent below the windows the Lucabond metal paneling just for an accent. All of the windows are hollow metal window frames. All of the doors are hollow metal standard school type construction hollow metal doors and frames. So our project schedule, okay, there's been no changes to our overall date for our schedule, but we wanted to make the board aware of some additional requirements that we became aware of at the state level, and that is that even on the securing the contract for your modular buildings, you have to do a pre-qualification process. So here in December, we're going to be seeking proposals from consultants that can help us do that pre-qualification process. It's required in order to secure state funds. And so we've added to the timeline the requirement to secure a consultant for that. We have our programming meetings in January. We have the deadline to submit the pre-qualification package on January 30th. The district's required to notify the contractors that are pre-qualified by February the 6th. And then our bid deadline is February the 13th, and our board meeting is February the 22nd, when we would be back to actually have the board award contracts for the modular units. So the end date, these dates did not change. We've adjusted these dates in order to meet that state requirement for the pre-qualification of the contractors.
Is that date correct underneath December 2017? December 2018?
Oh, yes.
Secure consultant for contractor pre-qualifications.
December 2018, thank you. Yes, that's a mistake. That should be 2017, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question. You guys looked at the sign, making sure that we have soundproofing there on the classrooms and on the roof?
Yes, sir.
We address this issue?
Yes, sir. We'll show you in the sections. That's a very good question. I want to point out that all of the walls, you'll notice, they don't go up just to the suspended ceiling level, right? They go all the way up to the roof level or the floor level, and then there'll be chipboard on both sides, and then they'll have what's called a sound attenuating bat inside the wall, and so that's a typical construction for isolating the noise in the corridor and protecting the classroom. Yeah.
Another question: have you done any input with the teachers as far as the design of the classrooms?
Well, we're having our programming meetings in January.
With the teachers?
Yes, that's correct. That's what when we say the programming meetings, that's where we're going to determine who goes in each one of those buildings.
Not only that,
Yeah.
but you're talking about some boards on two sides and the cupboards on one side. Does that work for them?
Yes, and we're gonna determine that in January.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll of course we'll show them our proposal, and if we need to adjust, perhaps some of the classrooms don't need casework, some of them need a sink, some of them don't. This would be our standard unit, and then we'll adjust based on those programming meetings. Thank you.
Can you explain to me on the security consultant, what's that going to consist of? What is it going to be looking for? That's my question. I'm an understanding that there's modular contractors or builders out there that are already state approved. Is that what he's going to be doing? He's going to be looking for those state approved, or is he going to be coming in and doing more work than that?
Yeah, so what happens, there's a requirement that all general contractors and MEPs, that's what they're called, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. I could give you a list of all the contractors, but all the generals and the MEPs, they're required to be pre-qualified by the district. Okay, so you can come up with your own program if you wish and do all the pre-qualifications, but in order for a contractor to be responsive, so in order for us to show up here at your February 22nd board meeting and recommend approval of one of these modular companies, they have to have been pre-qualified by that February 13th date by the district, okay? And so your legal counsel can give you the documents, all the forms that we need to include in our contract documents that describe the pre-qualification process, and it's pretty simple. It's just a questionnaire, and then it usually has a rating system so that they know how they're going to be rated. And then so what the consultant does is rather than have you go through all those forms and qualify a grade, you can hire a consultant that will make sure that you do cross all your T's and dot your I's, so that when you submit your application for state funding, that you can show that you've pre-qualified the contractors correctly, so that, and haven't done anything to disqualify yourself for those state funds. So a few months back, it was our understanding, and it was kind of everyone's understanding, that you could secure certain types of contracts without doing the pre-qualification. but the state won't give you an answer and, on whether or not they will or they won't. When you call and ask them, they just refer you back to the requirements. And so in an abundance of caution, we think that we need to make the recommendation that we do go through this pre-qualification process just to be sure that we don't do anything that would disqualify you from receiving your state funds. But the actual work that these consultants do is very simple. They're just going to take the packet, like let's say we have 4 modular companies, they're going to take a look at that in a very subjective way, and they're going to make a recommendation that yes, let me back up, they'll pull the forms off your website, they'll fill out the questionnaire. It just has to do with their qualifications, that they're a legitimate company, that they can bond, right? And then they'll submit that to the designated person here at the district. Your consultant will take a look at that, will recommend approval or not approval, and then you'll notify those contractors by that February 13th date that they've either been approved or not approved, and then that qualifies them to be able to bid on your project. So it's a pretty simple, painless process, but it's something that needs to be done in order for us to make sure that we can secure those state funds. So, but we didn't have those dates and that scope of services on our schedule before, and so we wanted to update you to let you know that we've included that in this new revised schedule.
So what you're telling us is that these people, these consultants, they guarantee us that they're gonna do the job right, and so when we apply for state funds, that there's not gonna be no mistakes?
No, sir.
No, sir, what?
No, that's not what they do.
So what do they do?
So what happens is the contract, there's a questionnaire form, right? And the contractor completes that questionnaire form, okay? And it has, it lists out previous projects. It will have their financial statements, right, from a certified accountant. And so all this company is gonna do is confirm that they meet the minimum requirements for them to be considered a pre-qualified bidder. It's a state requirement. Yeah, but they don't, they're not making any guarantee that company is gonna perform in any way once they bid the job and they're the successful bidder.
No. My question was, is this company going to assure us that these companies are gonna be 100% approved by the state, by
No,
DSA?
The consultant, let me ask you, the consultant, all he's doing is qualifying these firms.
That's what I mean.
That's all he's doing is qualifying the firms, right?
Yeah, you're just pre-qualifying the firms to say that these firms are pre-qualified to bid on a project for Calexico Unified School
Well, yeah,
District.
that was my question. So they make sure that they qualify to do the job.
That they meet the minimum
minimum
requirements. Yes, yeah, and it's a state requirement that you pre-qualify all of your, again, your generals, your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing contractors. And so when you get your bid from your modular building company, well, they have to be pre-qualified, but any companies that they list in their designation of subcontractors also have to be listed as approved bidders for the district. So any of their electrical contractors, mechanical and plumbing contractors also need to be listed.
I do have one thing, and this is based on what we've done in the past. I mean, with this Measure D, we promise our community full transparency. And I know that we have a Measure V committee. And my suggestion would be, see if we could present the same presentation that you had tonight, because they're actually the experts. I'm not an expert in education. This group is comprised of the principal, the teachers, the students, the custodians, and everybody else that is working these sites. And I would like their input, because if you ask me about the desks, I mean, they look nice and everything, but I'm not a teacher. So I'd like to see if we can get their input, because they might see something that we're not seeing tonight. And again, it's part of transparency, and not only transparency, but communicating to our fellow citizens of what we're going to do with their money. So I'd like to see if we can set something up and actually bring it to the Measure V committee. I mean, it's good that, I thank you for the timeline and everything. It's important. And I know we're short in time, but we need to also bring the experts, and that it's our students, our teachers, our principal, and they're our stakeholders, correct?
Yeah,
So I'd
and
like to
that's,
see that.
if directed by the board or by the district, we look forward to giving this same presentation to the Measure V committee. We'd be glad to. When
When you presented the A, B, C project, it came from them. They actually reviewed it, they discussed it, and we brought it to the board. The board then agreed upon A or B, I don't remember, one of those two.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that that's the process. And again, I thank you for bringing the timeline, and I know we're short in time, but I would like the input from the stakeholders, our kids that are going to be in those classrooms, the teachers, the principal, because they might look or want to see something different, or might agree with what we're discussing tonight. So that would be my take on this.
Yeah.
And I know we're short, and I know you're pressed. The last thing we want, and I've been discussing it throughout the year, is that we need also Plan B, because what if the state doesn't match those funds? We're not going to have the total amount to be able to build what we have visioned here. So we need to also let the community know that could happen. We're talking consultants, we're talking about getting our paperwork correctly and so forth. Anything can happen. The state can say that we've got a new governor coming in, he might change his mind. So with that said, I'll talk to Ms. Randall, and maybe we can present it, and if it's critical.
If I may, just for a point of clarification, and I do appreciate your feedback, and we will be having those programming, and that's going to take a lot of that where we include the committee that was derived and how we, did the vote and whatnot for the placement of the buildings and so on and so forth. Those meetings will be starting in January where we will include the principal, the staff, the kids, and, where they can see this presentation, take a look at what some of the ideas and what we were talking about, like cupboard placements and that type of stuff, and whiteboard placement. So thank you for your input, and we certainly will be starting those programming meetings in January.
And I'll ask, I'm okay with presentation and sort of timelines and everything, but I'd like for our stakeholders to look at this project and give it the okay, because ultimately, it's for them, it's not for us. I could be gone next year, or one of us can be gone, but it's important that we bring them in and get the buy-in from them.
That'll be in January. Right?
In January,
All right.
And then as we expend the funds, the Measure V Citizens Oversight, and that's a separate committee, the Citizens Oversight Committee, as we pay for things like consultant and the bills that come in, then they will then at a separate committee meeting review all of the expenditures that are related to Measure V. So we will definitely move forward with the idea and just the modus operandi of transparency. So thank you.
Thank you.
One more question, Mr. Sanders. I don't know if you already researched it, but is there any buildings here in the valley that are this type of building?
Yes, there are. There's several buildings, that are. No, there's not a two-story building that I'm aware of, but there are several single-story buildings, and then a two-story is very similar to the single-story. It's just stacked. So yeah.
Oh,
The Olga Academy has a two-story.
Is that
their new addition?
It's
I'm not sure if it's modular or what.
No, I think that was built from scratch.
Yeah. I don't think that's a modular. Yeah, it is a two-story, and there's several two-story buildings in the valley, but I'm not aware of any of them that are modular. But there are lots of modular type constructed buildings in Imperial Valley that I can get you a list.
And give me some names. I'd like to tour some. And the reason I'm asking is that, for instance, we've been doing a lot of work here, and thermostats with Climate Tech. Things that our climate is different. Our situation is different. We have earthquakes also, so I like, to have our I's dotted and our T's crossed. So I appreciate it. So if you can get us that, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, when we go out to bid for the project, and when we request proposals back or bids back on the modular buildings, it will have performance specifications on things like the air conditioning unit. So we just don't tell them, provide an air conditioner. We tell them which air conditioner to provide.
Okay.
And, they they provide the modular system, but we tell them, the type of lighting that we want, the type of air conditioning that we want. We give them a performance specifications on all those types of systems. So, yes.
So the new parent center in El Centro, is that kind of similar to this?
Yes, sir. That is a modular building, very similar to this. It's
And
called
then-
flush with grade concrete foundation modular building.
And then the Central District, two-story buildings? Central High? Are they building two-story buildings?
They're building a new two-story building.
Modular?
No, but it's not a modular.
Okay.
Mhm, yeah.
So the parent center is in El
Yeah,
Centro.
Parent Center in El Centro. And I can give you a list of several of these types of buildings around the valley, so you can see, when you drive by and it's a flush with grade concrete foundation, you're not gonna know that, it came down the freeway at one point, right? And you, as we pointed out with these buildings, when you look at the exterior elevations, you won't be able to see that to tell that those are, at one point, built in a factory and came down the freeway, yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Sanders.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Moving on to J3, Association Comments, ACT. Moving on to CSEA. Any comments from CSEA?
Buenas noches, miembros de la mesa directiva, superintendente interino. Mi nombre es César Sánchez, soy miembro de CSEA, actual tesorero de la Unión. Me pidieron dar un mensaje en español porque tenemos muchos miembros que entienden español. La razón de estar aquí es que no creemos justo el trato que se nos está dando. Aceptar el 5%, aceptamos el 15% y quitaron la cláusula de la igualdad entre el distrito y el sindicato. Además, el distrito no quiere seguir la cláusula del plan de retiro, en la cual se indica en el contrato, y hacerse responsable del 100%. Esta cláusula ha estado en el contrato desde hace más de 20 años. Le pedimos a la mesa directiva que consideren esta petición de los empleados clasificados. Gracias.
Gracias. Thank you. Moving on to J4, Insurance Committee.
We had an insurance committee on November 29th, and it was very well attended by ACT and CSEA. One of the items on our agenda is always talk about if there's any issues in regards to Anthem, Delta Dental, or VSP, and none were reported by any of our bargaining unit members, which is excellent. One of the informations that we shared is that Anthem has changed their customer service number. And so everyone that has Anthem Blue Cross can expect to receive new ID cards in the mail. And so because they changed the 1-800 number, everybody has to get new cards. So those will be issued out, and everyone should be getting them soon. Also, we have the Insurance California Purchasers Health Care Coalition Conference in San Diego, and that's attended by our ACT members and CSEA members, as well as the district representatives. So we have a total of about 6 representatives that attend that conference, and it's always a great conference centered around healthcare, and we always bring back some great ideas to share in the insurance committee. And then lastly, our Calexico Employee Wellness Program is definitely on fire. We're planning a health fair for February the 6th, 2018 over at the Desada Gym. And so part of it is we'll have biometrics there, which is excellent for some of our employees that want to go through that process. We'll have a lot of health awareness booths. We'll also have El Centro Medical. We have Pioneers. We'll have health and nutrition, so we'll have plenty of food, but it'll be based on nutrition. And so we look forward to the health fair for all of our employees, and so we're expecting a good turnout. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. ROP Committee, I have nothing to report at this time. There's a meeting coming up. I couldn't attend the November meeting because I was sick, so. Moving on to Safety Committee.
Good evening. We held our safety committee meeting on December 1st, and during that meeting, we provided updates in regards to our security cameras, our mass emergency program, which is Catapult. You will be seeing the agreement for Catapult in one of our items for approval tonight. We also updated them on our emergency buckets. We had to refurbish them, and so the order went out this December. We also reviewed all the requirements for the comprehensive safety school plans, and we began the process of reviewing if we have met all the criteria. We're also updating the zone maps for each one of those safety plans. We updated with some input from our district nurse, the medical response plan that we had. We also talked about having uniformity with our drills, including adopting a new template for all of our safety plans so they're all the same format. During this time, the CHS team was attending the Las Vegas Safety Conference that the board had approved some time back, and they were sending a lot of messages while they were out there. And Lisa, we got to share this with you. And Lisa, we have to make sure we bring this to the safety committee. So we are scheduled to meet next week. They're going to provide me an update of what they viewed, visited, and ideas that they're bringing back for the safety committee, and then they will be presenting during our next safety committee with some of the learning that took place then. And our next scheduled meeting is for January 19, and during that time, we're going to make sure that all of our safety plans are finalized so that we can bring them to you for approval in the month of February.
Thank you. LCAP?
I have a question, just to follow up on that,
Yes.
if I may, just a comment. So, as we're talking about new facilities here, Mr. Sanders is in the back listening. As we're talking about new facilities, that was crossing my mind as well. As we're looking at new construction, new buildings, safety plans, emergency response, maybe you guys can have a conversation about emergency, hardware systems. I don't know what the bell system would be in there, emergencies, sirens, whatever it may be.
I was even taking notes. How do the doors open? Can we lock them inside? Because right now we have a
lockdown
mechanism.
drills,
Outlets, the wiring. Can we have the outlets on the floor versus
so
having on
those
the
are
wall?
conversations you can have. But as you're talking about safety committee, I'm thinking about that as well. Willie Moreno has a new system that I saw not too long ago, lockdown procedures automated. So if you guys can have those conversations, that's just something I'm interested in. I don't need to know the hows and the whats. That's not what we do. But consider that as you're designing and building. We're looking at modernized buildings, state-of-the-art, 21st century. And let's do the same with our safety plans as well.
Yes.
Moving on to LCAP.
Okay. So I provided you with a copy of our LCAP update. It's a long update, so I'll try and be as brief as possible. That's the other one. I emailed it to
So we have it.
you have a copy, and every member has a copy. So you see on page 2 the district's focus and initiatives. These were focuses that we worked through in the past years. Currently, we're also continuing to look at what will be our district focus for the curriculum portion, and these might change a little after we continue with our work throughout this year. But for right now, it's academic rigor for all of our students, supporting differentiation for all of our students, inclusive of our English learners, our foster youth, our socio-economic disadvantaged students. And what we want is to ensure that there's equity and access to core curriculum for them. And then number 3 is safety for all of our students and our staff, especially when it comes to even our environment. Our goals have not changed. Goal number 1 is still curriculum instruction and assessments. And again, is to ensure that we provide equitable access to a well-rounded curriculum for all of our students. 2 is technology. As mentioned earlier, is making sure that we are 21st century ready for our students. 3 is college and career readiness. And for that one, we want to make sure that we provide access to a broad course of study for all students again. 4 is people engagement in school climate, and here's where we want our students to be engaged, reduce our numbers of suspensions, increase our attendance, and it's to create a safe and positive learning environment. Number 5 is parent involvement, and in this one, we want our parents to be engaged and involved and partner with our school staff to support their children's learning. And then 6 is to improve the quality and safety of our school. So we have a goal on facility and safety. On page 4, you're going to see some items that are highlighted in yellow. If it's highlighted in yellow, it's that they haven't been addressed yet. The rest, we've tapped into the funding already. It's not fully expended, but it's a working document. So as we go through the year, we will be updating you on changes that we've done. This year, what we did differently is we did a Google form that I share with all stakeholders who tap into these funds, and they're providing me updates as to how it's being spent. So number 3, that's our Social Science and Science Textbook Adoption Committee, and the reason it hasn't taken place is because we haven't seen what will be the new books that will be adopted for the science and social science. In this action, you can see we'll see a lot of committees, and all our committees MOUs have been approved, and we have begun already our meetings for different committees. You also have there that we've already funded our accelerated reader program, different interventions for our curricular planning. Teachers are already starting to meet through grade level leads. It is done during the daytime versus doing it during the summer. Some of those committees will be starting in January, like our report card committee and our science committee. Page 5, the using supplementary programs at the secondary level. Last year we purchased materials for our long-term English learners and our newcomers. And this year they haven't requested additional supplies, but we do have that funding in case anything comes up throughout the year. Our EL Master Committee has also met, and then our lead technology staff members. I know that Mr. Padilla just sent out a notice letting them know that we are building a schedule. So it was an invitation to all our teachers that if they wish to receive one-on-one training from one of their peers in technology, they're building a schedule starting January so that they can partner up and start working on some projects. Then we have go to the technology. All positions have been filled. Mr. Padilla has been hosting already professional development with different grade levels, and they've also been purchasing the equipment. Some of them have been to replace existing equipment. Other is to purchase like the one-on-one devices that we're doing for our social studies this year, and then eventually our 4th grade. On page 6, continue with technology. For number 5, for example, professional development for classified staff. Number 4, sorry, for the infrastructure, they have renewed the service for the wireless systems, and they purchased additional servers and new equipment to maintain our wireless and wired network. For our professional development, number 5, you see a list of trainings that our staff has already participated in. 6 and 7 are data management system that we already purchased, and we've been training our staff. And 7 is also the mobile device management system, and that one's being, I believe it's going to be piloted in one of the schools, Mr. Padilla? Oh, no? At 2 various schools? All sites? Okay. Then the next page, the prior page, in page 6 and 7, you're going to see goal 3. And this one is college and career readiness, and here you're going to see different activities that have been taking place. For example, there's funding that we provided for our CTE teachers in our Navy program, and teachers have already been using those funds. We funded the Novians program. We did a mini training, and we'll be conducting a training on January 17 for our counselors who will be receiving this for the first time, and our existing counselors. So we purchased Novians this year for 7th and 8th. And we will begin some articulation as to what modules will be implemented at the 7th and 8th grade and how the high school will continue from there. Again, it is new to our 7th and 8th grade counselors, so they'll hear it for the first time in January. And then here you see 2 yellows. One is the articulation between the high schools, the junior highs, and the elementary teachers. Most of this takes place around April and May, when we're getting ready to schedule our classes and start building our master schedules. And then number 9, the CTE summer school, well, this won't take place until planning starts. We start planning now, but the expenses will start incurring in May, June. Number 4 is our engagement in school climate. That one, we've already been providing a lot of counseling not counseling, training to our counselors. We've also purchased, we had some trainings on the suicide prevention at the beginning of the summer, and we actually purchased posters that were developed by one of our psychologists, and they were placed in all of our classrooms. In addition, we've had trips for our students, and then trainings for some of our staff. On the next page, you see where we have the incentives and samples of where our site, what our sites are buying in terms of incentives for our students. We also have the attention to attendance. We had a meeting this week with administrators, and we had like a mini webinar training for them, and we're planning on bringing additional training in January for our attendance clerks and anybody who has not been trained. What else is here? The positive behavior intervention program that every school is implementing. They're doing different things. Most of it is done through our counselors. The elementary intramural sports program, our schools are getting ready for the Lobo Classic. And then the following page, number 9, you see our Saturday schools. Most sites have already implemented the Saturday schools. The enrichment activities throughout our different board meetings, you've seen how different sites have already put the precision control forms for the enrichment activities. We also have 2 yellows here, which are 2 summer school activities that will begin in May, June. One of this is the Technology Academy. The other one is our ELL summer school. Our music program, Action 14, we already purchased all instruments for jazz, recording and beginning music band. They purchased new drums for the drum line. And this week we submitted a quote for the junior highs. We had set aside $20,000 to purchase additional instruments for the junior highs, and so that went through to just a couple of days ago. And then the activity for number 15, we do provide some funds for our fostering homeless youth. That is, our FRC team is the one that does a lot of the running around and either getting donations or using some of these monies to provide services for our students. On page 10, you see goal 5, which is our parent involvement. We've been hosting different parent trainings. For LCAP, I put a flyer out there. Our first informational meeting, this is not the one where we go over every goal, but this is the one where we explain what were some of the changes from 16-17 to 17-18. What were some of the actions that we added or some of the actions that received changes. And then beginning in January, February, we will begin our community meetings for where we go over the different goals. We've also already purchased incentives for our parents to engage them, to reward them for the different participations that they have. Our parent leadership institutes have been taking place. They've been traveling to different sites. The marquees, 2 of the marquees were finalized in September, which was Mainz and Rockwood. They're up already. I know that they're beginning on Cesar Chavez, I believe, next week. And then right after that, they're going to continue with Kennedy Gardens. So then that'll leave us just 2 marquees next year for Dual and Aurora. And then the final year, depending where we're at with the high school, the next one would be our 9th grade campus. Number goal 6. Following next page is everything that has to do with facilities and safety. This is where we have our safety committee, and we've already been meeting. On goal number 1, we added the fire alarms at Calexico High School and Kennedy Gardens, and they purchased some for a slide for Cesar Chavez. Theirs had cracked. We already purchased additional radios for the different sites, and every year we will be buying additional radios so that every site is well equipped. Our Raptor Visitor Management System, we renewed the licenses, and every site is buying whatever badges or supplies that comes with the program. They've been doing that. Then we have trainings for our classified staff, and there's a list of trainings that they have already attended. The shade structures, as you know, the board approved that we purchased 2 shades for Calexico High School, 2 for Kennedy Gardens, and then finalizing the ones for the tennis courts. Water fountains and water dispensers have been installed around the tennis court, and there's also 2 water bottle fill stations that were installed at each elementary site. And then our final page, Our lights for CHS baseball was completed, should have been completed today. We also have safety supplies, number 13, that is where we purchased our, to refurbish our buckets for each classroom. And in classrooms who did not have that safety bucket, we purchased additional buckets too. Plus, sites are buying their own equipment to ensure safety at their sites. And towards the end, you will see the seating. Sites are purchasing their seatings. We have been replacing furniture, equipment for our crossing guards, for our custodial equipment has been, sites have begun to purchase custodial equipment that will be staying at their site. And then for number 18, we will be improving the facilities of Aurora. We talked about putting a half basketball and a handball and buying a cart. So we already purchased the cart, and I know that we've already held meetings to discuss what will be the next steps for building the basketball courts and the handball courts, and possibly like the fabric to complete a shade that has already been, the shade structure is there, but it doesn't have the cover. And then finally, purchase our management emergency system, which is a catapult, and that's what's on the agenda for today. And this is where we are with our budget. It tells you what's our working budget, what is our balance. So the total at the end, our working budget is a little bit over 11 million, and so far we spent close to $8 million of that. I mean, we have a balance of $8 million. We spent for about $3 million already. A lot of the expenses do happen after January. And that's it.
Thank you. J5, board reports. These are informational reports by board members. No action is taken. Romero?
Just want to congratulate Main School for continuing to have the highest attendance, and to the employees and the students that were honored today. That's all.
Mr. Calderon?
Thank you for attending our meeting, and happy holidays. Thank you.
Calderon Jr.?
Thank you, President. I'd like to congratulate all the students that were awarded recognition tonight, and also our staff. As Mr. Gonzalez mentioned today, we had our first AR Top Reader Awards. It went well, and hopefully we can continue throughout the week to the other 6 elementaries. Also, I should note that we had a representative from Mr. Congressman Garcia's office, Ms. Estela Jimenez, who also awarded certificates to the top readers, which I think was great on their behalf. And we also had Del Taco give certificates to our students, to the top readers, and I think that was also a good gesture on behalf of Taco Bell. And I'd like to take this time to thank my sponsors, because without you, this would not be possible. Mr. Sanders, thank you for your contribution, and some of you are sitting here with me. Again, thank you for your efforts and trying to keep this vision alive. Also, I'd like to recognize Ms. Claudia Montaño. She was instrumental in getting some grants from Walmart. I know that you have a busy schedule, but thank you for making it possible for our kids, and I think it should be noted. Again, thank you. And last but not least, I want to thank all my peers for this past year. It was a good year, and again, thank you for allowing me to be the president, and thank you for your support during the year. Also, Mr. Alvarado, I wish you the best in this year, and you can always count on me to help you out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Castillo?
I think just along, it's already kind of been said, but again, not very ever, that we have 2 CIF football championship games here in the county. So again, I want to recognize certainly our community, educational community, our partners here in the Valley, be it Central District and our Vincent. So kind of an honor to have that here. So again, congratulations, and good luck for all those players and parents tomorrow. Again, it's already been said with the dedications at the football field from Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Rojas. So again, we won't say much more about that. The LCAP, Mr. Ramirez, thank you for continuing to bring this back. This is very important. It's something we've committed to, and very lofty. So for everyone involved in all departments, you guys have a lot of work you're doing and continue to do. So we thank you for that. Continue bringing this to us. Let us know how again we can help and support this plan that we've already approved. Again, looking at the funding, we're in December, so again, start spending down, because we won't want to use it, right? Start spending it. Again, all this is good for our kids. And there's a lot of things in here. I think the goals, I mean, we've talked about a lot of them already today in other agenda items, be it the academics, the technology, parent and facilities. You know, we're talking about this already. So I do have some interest in some of these goals areas. Again, technology we talked about, and it's kind of a drive and interest of the board. We want to see that integrated, our classrooms being modernized with our facilities, our instruction, and there's a lot of professional development going on for our teachers and for our students. Again, for parents, so I might talk to you a little more about that, but kind of interested in that as well. But you brought the dashboard information to us a month ago? So I know dashboard, more information's out. So with the dashboard, I know administrators are looking at that, studying that. Site administrators should be studying that as well and sharing with our staff. So there's a lot of good things happening in the district. That's reflected in there, and there's still some work to do. And I heard recently that in California, the 58 districts, 48 of them had to go through technical assistance, right? But none in Imperial County had 0. So that goes to say Imperial County schools have met that mark, at least this year. So that's kind of a kudos to all the districts here in the county. Of the 458 in California, 10 were not included, including Imperial County and Calexico. So that's good. So keep up the work. It never ends. So we hope to continue with that. Again, just as everyone's sharing, this is our last meeting of the year. Congratulations to everybody for making it through the year. Wishing everybody a happy winter break and holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Just want to congratulate everybody that was here today. Well, actually was recognized today. And I want to thank everybody that showed up today also as well. Kudos to Mr. Calderon Jr. for his AR program. I think it's a wonderful program, and it just, keeps on growing and growing. Another thing that I just wanted to add is, just like Mr. Castillo said, don't want to sound like a broken record, but, our whole county is being recognized right now just by these 2 schools, which is one local, Vincent Memorial, another one down the street from us, which is Southwest. It's never been seen before in the state of California, especially for 2 schools to be Southern champions. With that said, just want to wish everybody here a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and hopefully, see a lot, district grow the way it should be growing, and I see the district making those positive steps as we speak. So, other than that, thank you very much. Moving on to K, action items. Consider an action approval of the following items. Moving on to K1. Authorization to seek qualifications, RFQs for security surveillance consultant.
I move to approve.
Well, I have a couple of questions. Who can answer some questions? I know that if we do have it, it's outdated and so forth. So my question is it for the entire district or certain sites? And what is it as far as what are we looking at purchasing?
So great question. It is for the entire school district, and we know that we have some sites that have purchased, that went to Home Depot or something and got, some cameras and threw them out there. So ideally, we're looking for a district-wide security system, or, cameras and stuff. With the safety committee, because they keep hounding us, in regard to this, and we've had some break-ins, we've had some things happen. We did do an RFP over the summer, and it was we invited vendors to come out, and it just happened to be probably one of the hottest days in the history of being hot, and it just didn't work out. We are not experts in security needs. So we need some assistance from a consultant with scope of work, someone that would come and do an assessment of the facility and work along with Jeremy with IT with our capability and so on and so forth to then write the scope, so then we can bid it out and then get quotes as to how much it's going to cost to do a district-wide surveillance type of security service. So those folks that did come and participate, they didn't want to participate in the job walk. It was a 2-day job walk where our idea was, okay, we're going to walk, we're showing you all of this, and we want you to provide us with a proposal as to what you think would best serve the needs of the school. Well, they didn't want to do that. They want a clear, which again, that's probably the right way to go about it as well, a clear-cut scope of work that goes in line with what our technology capabilities can do, along with, you know, the ins and outs of our facility. So it would be a district-wide, and this is for assistance in the scope of work.
I have no further questions.
I also add, just as you're pursuing and looking, or maybe approved as a consultant, talk to other districts that have already gone through this. You know, mapping aside, looking at remote camera monitoring, IP-based systems, because they've done that. They've been in our shoes right now to try and solve the same problem. So
Thank you.
reach out.
Okay, will do.
It's happening here in the Valley.
Will do. Thank you.
You want your motion?
Yes, I made the motion.
Second.
Motion by Calderon, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed by Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself, Alvarado. Moving on to K2. Agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Imperial County Office of Education to provide partnership guidelines for the early care and education programs, Early Head Start, Home Base, ECEP.
Is this a, Carlos, is this a recurring contract? Or-
I believe it's come before, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Calderon Jr., second by Calderon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain. I abstain because I'm involved in it.
Okay. So, all those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., myself, Alvarado, abstained by Mr. Castillo. Moving on to K3, application license and agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Diverse Network Associates for Catapult Emergency Management System.
I motion to approve.
I'll second. Motion by Calderon Jr., second by Alvarado. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor, Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself, Alvarado. Moving on to K4, service agreement between the Calexico Unified School District and George Kuros for professional development services.
What's this, Carlos?
So what this is for professional development for next year. And so when we have our staff development with our teachers and our staff for October 8th of 2018, you know, presenters like this, you have to book them almost a year in advance, because if you don't, they're so sought after that they will go basically with a first come, first serve. And so we've met with ACT to look at the date as being a favorable date for staff development. And so what we want to do is jump on it, make sure that we have a service agreement with George Kudos, because if we don't, then we might not get him.
Didn't we already approve a speaker in our, like, the class?
Previously, yes, but this is now moving forward for
The following
next
year?
school year. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
All in favor, Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, and myself, Alvarado. Moving on to K5, service agreement between the Calexico Unified School District and Passionate Learners for Professional Development Services.
I move we approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Romero, second by Calderon. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor, Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself, Alvarado. Moving on to K6, approval of Measure V, Calexico High School and new classroom modular building sections and floor plans.
That's where.
What is it, floor plans?
Being what we just saw right now. Is that correct? What was presented to us, those floor plans for the first building?
Ms. Randall?
Yes.
Yes.
And again, with the understanding that we're going to take it back to the committee for input, but this is just the general basic, like kind of a cookie cutter type thing that can.
So we can modify this, you're telling us. All right, I'm motion to approve.
I'll second that motion. Motion by Calderon Jr., second by Alvarado. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those in favor was Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, myself, Alvarado. Moving on to case 7. Accounts payable pre-list and addendum.
Second.
Motion by Romero, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor? Aye. Passed by Romero, Calderon, Calderon Jr., Castillo, and myself, Alvarado. Moving on to K8, fiscal year 2017-18 first interim report.
And Ms. Randa will be presenting.
Good evening, trustees. This evening, I'm going to be presenting the 2017-18 Calexico Unified First Interim Report. So the first interim report is a series, or it's one of 3 financial reports that come before the board. The typical, the time frame for the first interim report goes up and through October 31st of 2017, and it makes projections through the end of the year. As a part of this report, things like the revenues and expenditures are updated. We take a look at cash flow. We take a look at multi-year projections. What's inclusive is negotiations and just everything that is happening financial-wise, or things that impact the budget and its ending fund balance. This is a state requirement, and it is due to the county office no later than December the 15th, which is tomorrow. Okay, so as a part of the updating, we take a look at our revenue sources and funds of our sources of funding. This is our 4th year being a part of the LCFF, which is the local control funding formula. The purpose or the idea behind this way of funding was to address the students with greater needs, which would be our low income English learner and homeless and those populations. It shifts away from categorical because now it's inclusive in the LCFF funding model. As a part of the model, it also takes a look at our unduplicated percentages for our underserved students and our current percentage that we're budgeting upon, and it increases or decreases, which has an impact on our supplemental and concentration funds. Our current percentage that we are using based on prior year and based on information that we receive via LCFF surveys and student information from the food services, and as far as how they meet the requirement or how we're eligible for the supplemental and concentration dollars. It's 91.4%, so that's how a piece of our funding is based on for supplemental and concentration. This funding program started, again, 4 years ago, and it was intended to be an 8-year funding period, meaning that we would start, again, 4 years ago, but we would reach full funding within an 8-year period. And I have a slide just to kind of illustrate that a little bit better. So what that means is the state, go ahead. The state recognizes that based on our ADA and based on the needs of our district, that we should receive a target, that this is the amount we should receive. So if you look at this little illustration here, that in 2016-17, the state recognizes that based on our ADA, based on the students that we serve, we are entitled to over $97 million. However, they're not going to give us $97 million. So, but the minimum that they'll give us is $85 million. That's the floor, meaning that's the least that we'll ever get. So to make us whole, or to help us get towards becoming whole over this 8-year period, they have incorporated something called gap funding, which means it closes the gap from the floor and the target. So in the interim, in 16-17, we received $6.55 million towards the $97 million, which is, we only received $91 million, which is the total phase-in, which means of the total entitlement, what we're entitled to, we didn't receive $97 million, we only received $91 million. And that is just illustrated throughout the years with this type of funding. And you can see that as the years go on, you can see the dollar amounts may look like maybe even, but as the gap closes, then you can see that the percentage or the current year or the gap funding will get smaller and smaller as we reach and move towards the target. Okay. As a part of first interim, again, like I had mentioned before, we take a look at the revenues and expenditures. Some of the highlights, again, the local control funding formula, the gap funding percentage, which means, again, the difference or between the floor and the target and what we're going to receive to try to get us towards full implementation is 43%, 43.97%. There was a slight increase to the CPI factor from 3.11% to 3.42%. What's included in our budget is the grade span adjustment funding. We have some estimated one-time funding for outstanding mandate claims. We have continuous and steady enrollment. The average daily attendance, which is much of how the district's revenue is based, was 8933.49, and we use the same number, which is our P2 from 16-17. The district's ratio of attendance to CalPADS fall enrollment was approximately 95.6% district-wide. The district is projecting to maintain a low but positive cash balance throughout the year. Okay. As a part of our revenue updates, these are just some of the different factors that are, I guess revenue and cash. So our cash, we're looking to close the year with a little over $4.3 million as of June 30 of 2018. We had a slight decrease in LCFF funding. So LCFF funding went down a little over $67,000. We had an increase to restricted lottery funds of $49,000. We updated all of our state and local revenues, so it was a net increase of over $476,000, but I want to just make a note that the majority of those funds were restricted, those ERP dollars, so it's just, and that's a project that has already come to the board for approval. But we got the money this year. A grade span adjustment revenue is included. Some additional ERP fund balance from the prior year is included. And our Stores on Behalf contribution, revenue, and expenditures are included in this budget. Some of the changes or updates to our expenditures. So and I break them down by classifications, the 1s, 2s, 3s, which are our salaries and benefits. What is included in this first interim budget is our board-approved certificated positions, along with the increase or the salary settlement that was agreed upon with ACT, and again, redistribution of budgets, as we move things in the LCAP. If, like, say for instance, if we budgeted for subs and it ends up being like an away conference, then we kind of move it from the 1,000s down to the 5,000s, which is conference and travel. So there's some redistribution of the budget. As far as the classified salaries and benefits goes, the board approved, again, positions, the redistribution of the budget, in addition to potential settlements that may come into play with CSEA. Benefits that are associated with that, which are our statutory benefits, PERS, STRS, and all of the taxes that go along with that, as well as health insurance and the benefits that go along with extra hours and so on and so forth. Our books and supplies, other operating expenditures, and as noted here, there were some expenditures that were approved that were not budgeted prior to or after our unaudited actuals and revised budget, which was in September, so I just listed what those were. 824, the pool algae abatement. 914, the change order for additional sidewalk on the track project. The 1012 board approved, the Cesar Chavez ADA compliance work. 1012, the AC preventative maintenance contract had a small increase as to what was budgeted. And the 1012, some additional shade structures that were approved on that date. Also included in the 5,000s are the expenses for grants that require matching from the unrestricted general fund. Again, we take into consideration categorical carryover and we spend that. Again, redistribution in the budget. We take a look at capital out in the 6,000s capital outlay as we continue to buy equipment like our shade structures and so on and so forth. These are where you're going to see these classifications in the budget. In the 7,000s, indirect costs, and temporary loans between funds to support the other funds until their funds have come in. And that's an update to our expenditures. In the multi-year projections and how they're calculated, the district takes a look at factors that come from school services, information that comes from our county. We take a look at that LCFF calculator and what we're projecting. We always use the current year ADA in addition to the gap factors and the information provided by our county and school services, and that's how we budget in the current year and in the out years. We take into consideration the same unduplicated count until we are certified, and we would receive a different number that could or could not impact the budget. We take a look at what the factors or what the projections are from those leaders in the industry, like school services and our county office, of what the gap funding is estimated to be, what COLA is estimated to be, and the increases to our PERS and STIRS rates and insurance rates we take into consideration step and column. And there's also, if there was one-time dollars that were included, it's removed in the multi-year because one-time is just that, one-time dollars. We take a look at or make sure that we include our grade span adjustment funding and also take into consideration any changes or estimated changes in the CPI. So this is this was kind of a difficult slide to put together from the perspective of I haven't seen it like this in quite some time. We are, in the current year, deficit spending a little over $8.4 million. On the unrestricted side, it's about $6.3 million. And on the restricted side, which again, the restricted is typically just spending down carryover that carries from year to year. But the challenge is definitely in the unrestricted side. The unrestricted ending fund balance for this year is projected to be a little over $7.6 million, which is 6%. And we know that's not very much. The district has met its minimum required 3% reserve balance for the current year and is projected to meet the minimum reserve in 18-19. However, it is projecting not to meet the 3% required reserve in the 19-20 subsequent year, therefore causing a change in the district's budget certification from positive to qualified, which I'm just very, it's kind of hurtful. It kind of hurts to have to say that. But I have to report it and provide the information. Again, the general fund, cash-wise, is projected to close with approximately $4.3 million cash in the bank. And we, as always, the district will continue to monitor spending when spending down large carryover amounts, and as we need to limit spending so that we do have cash available and that we don't end in a negative cash balance at the year end, we will limit spending that way. The district has always tried to strive and stay around the 10% range in the unrestricted general fund, but we have decreased significantly to 6%. And I can mention a couple of contributing factors. We've staffed and hired as if we have received 100% full implementation of the LCFF funds. One of the big kind of hits was we lost $1.4 million in RDA funds that we just didn't get. And I don't anticipate us receiving those dollars. And that was a direct impact to our general fund. The district has funded a lot of its facilities, recent facilities projects from the unrestricted general fund. And as has been mentioned, numerous times and many times that, we have old facilities and recognizing that, but we can't sustain the types of repairs and the types of construction out of our unrestricted general fund. We can't afford to do that. I don't think anybody can. No district in the state of California can do that. At this time, and I've done everything I can to hope that there isn't a structural deficit, but unfortunately, we're here. And what I mean by structural deficit is we spend more than what we get continuously. So in order to correct that, then it's imperative that we take a look at our spending and find ways to spend less than what we get, which would then in turn cause surplus, which would then in turn build our reserve. Attendance is also very important. I include the slide where I think this is a very important slide where we take a look at the days of school and when we look at attendance and how every school day counts, every student day counts, every absence, there is a dollar value to be placed on that. And if we look at just an example, if we had 11 students absent per day in each one of these grade levels, then this is what we're missing just by absences. I know that in a previous presentation, we had talked about attendance and what does the impact of 1% mean, and we've kind of quantified that just based on our current trend and track record. It's about $900,000 for just 1% increase in attendance could make a difference in our budget, and it just could make a difference. So that's why I really always want to show, historically we have a lot of kids absent every single day, and I can certainly appreciate and applaud the administrators at this, for working hard to get students to school every day. So we are improving, but it's not P2 yet, and we don't have a number to say what that means financially to us at this point in time. So certainly want to include that. A couple of recommendations that I can share here in public session at this time is back in the day, we used to do something called a monthly budget update. And this was something that I had come up with because from budget period to budget period, the board would want to know, well, why the change in the budget, or why are we deficit spending, or what's going on. So what I did was I built a monthly budget. So and this is just a little snippet of it because it's just too big to put in the slide. But what it does is it takes a look at from each adopted budget period, which would, like, for instance, first interim today. So you're going to approve this first interim budget. So anything that happens from interim to interim, you get to see it month to month. So say, for instance, revenue increased for whatever reason. The state said, you know what, Calexico, you won the lottery today, and we're going to give you an extra $1 million. So it happened in January, but we don't really have another budget reporting period until March the 15th. So we got it in January. By the end of January, I'm going to report that on January the 15th, Calexico won the lottery, and you'll be able to see how it impacts the ending fund balance. So, and very same thing when it comes to additional expenditures that are not budgeted, how it impacts the ending fund balance. If it's not budgeted, then and again, you can see that it has board approval date and all of that. So that's something that I certainly recommend that comes back here. So the board is certainly, even though we bring everything to the board for approval anyway, but you can see how it impacts the budget today and then moving forward. So that's certainly a recommendation that I would, that I'm going to bring back and add it to the presentation section of our budget. Some other recommendations that I have that can be shared directly with the board, more than likely as a part of negotiations and so on and so forth. But as of right now, I didn't think it was right to certify as positive, because positive would mean that we can meet our obligations in the current year and the 2 subsequent years. And at this time, based on what the budget and based on the information that I have today, in that third out year, the district is posed with some challenges. So I am recommending that our first interim budget be certified as qualified at this point in time. And I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the report, but I'm very concerned regarding our structural deficit. We need to address it as soon as possible before it gets worse. So I'm assuming that when we start doing the 2019 budget, we should address it then. As you said, we've hired staff as though we're receiving 100% of the LCFF funding, but we're not. So we need to cut back somewhere. And I know that STIRS and PERS are increasing next year. Do you know by how much?
I want to say at least 2% is what I want to at least say, 2%, but I didn't bring that little
Then they're
sheet
also
with me.
increasing the year thereafter.
Correct.
And thereafter. So we need to address this. It's very, very critical. That's all I have to say.
Trustee Romero, like you, I heard the keyword structural deficit and staffing at 100% when we don't have the funding. Well, the last thing I want is layoffs, because if we don't get the money, that's where we're headed. So I agree with you. I'm not the expert as far as budgeting, but I would suggest that you get with your staff and the stakeholders and develop some plan of action. So how are we going to deal with this deficit? We made some approvals tonight that were questionable. So maybe it's time to just start cutting the expenses and build up our funds. So I agree with Romero. And the last thing I want is be a part of, we don't have money, so we're going to have to lay off staff. So we're at the point right now that we can actually stop a lot of things, a lot of expenditure, over expenditures, and prevent these tragic decisions in the near future. So I'm with Romero, and maybe in the next board meeting bring a plan as to what we need to take action.
And I do have some recommendations to share, so.
Well, and we need them like yesterday.
I got
if
them
that's
tonight.
I mean, this is the first time I hear you singing a different song to this tune. So it's here. We need to deal with it.
In the prior reports I've seen, you've said structural deficit,
Yeah, but
made your
not
projections.
Look at her face, and it's not the same face that.
I know I'm normally very happy at the podium,
So-
and I'm not as happy as I'd like to.
You're not a good poker player, but
I'm
let me
not.
tell you, I'm concerned based on what the message you're bringing us today, and we need to take action.
Indeed.
So, Ms. Randall, I think you and administration in the past have done a good job, helping lead and guide this district out of fiscal, uncertainties and darkness. So I guess we're kind of getting to that point. We're starting our conversations. So we're going qualified because of not meeting our reserves in 1920.
Correct.
Is that correct? All right.
Correct. And so I've already met with the county. I met with them today. And my concern is that if I were to provide a positive budget, that the county would say, no, you're not positive. And they would, which again, it went the opposite way for me 6 years ago, or 5 years ago, to where we were positive and the county changed our certification to qualified. And I disagreed, and I won with this. So I just think that in the right thing to do, because there is, at this point, enough to say in that third year there is some challenge, and it's not challenge like we're $1 off. It's a significant amount of money, and it just brings awareness, more awareness, and planning needs to start.
And I have
right
no
away.
problem submitting as qualified, looking 3 years out. So again, I think you're hearing from the board that, yes, we do need to pay attention more to our budget, our deficit spending. I don't think the sky's falling quite today.
Not today.
But we do have the time to begin to slowly correct our fiscal outlook here. And then hopefully in 3 years, or that 3-year outlook, meet our, at least that reserve requirement, get out and qualified. So we have time. Again, the sky's not falling today.
Not today.
But again, I think it is important, and you've told us several times, and you're telling us again today, again with a different non-poker face, but I think it's good, and that I'm hearing some agreements here that, yes, we need to spend more attention and time on looking at what we can do to kind of correct our spending, or pay attention to our budget, so 2 or 3 years out, we'll be fine. And again, 2 or 3 years out, I don't know what California is going to look like.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because Norma and I had a conversation today that, we build our multi-year projections. We're talking 2 years down the line, and who's to say what it will look like? And it's just based on what we know today. Tomorrow, well, the governor adopts his budget in January, so we don't know. Again, like I said, we might hit the lottery. Something might happen that we're not aware of. But again, based on what we know today, that's, this is all I know today.
I don't think that lotto is coming.
I'm hoping, I'm hopeful. I'm putting it in the atmosphere.
When we first started, we had a lot of funds from them. Now it's very minimal.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you very much for the preparation of the report, Ms. Randall, and just look forward to your recommendations, what those will be.
Thank you.
With that said, I move to approve.
second.
Motion by Alvarado, second by Calderon Jr. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor, Romero, Calderon Jr., Castillo, and myself, Alvarado. Moving on to K9, selection particular option. A procedure for filling vacancy of district superintendent. Options include at least employment of an executive search firm, employment of a search advisor, direct search by the board, or other options. Any questions?
So this is our opportunity tonight to give direction as to how we want to proceed to fill this position. Again, there's 3 options. We've heard presentations before, and we'll have a discussion. I know all of us. Again, I know one of the options, the board getting involved and doing the search, it's not one that at least I'm interested in, just because of the time consumption and or consuming task. Plus, all of our hands in the pot. I think it's better to have a third party do it, collect input from community, stakeholders, staff, and bring it to us as we go through the process. So that option for me is how I feel about that one.
So you're talking
The
a
board
firm.
search firm?
I'm saying not have us do it.
No,
Not
of
us.
course. I think we agree with that.
Yeah, I think the inexpensive thing would be the search advisor versus the hiring executive search firm.
Yeah.
So I'd support that.
So this district has used search firms before in the past. Other districts have used them as well. Central used them recently.
Raleigh.
Do you know which one they
Raleigh.
searched? And which one they,
Central used Leadership Associates. Heber used the county. Raleigh, I don't know who they used.
I think that California Board Association affiliate, McPherson or something. I personally would want an executive firm to do the selection.
So why don't we give Carlos direction to look into an executive firm and bring us those options so we can vote on those for the next board meeting.
So can you get quotes or bids
Yeah.
or costs?
And
Because they-
background experience and with districts they have worked with.
At least that McPherson is actually endorsed by California Boards
CSBA.
Associations, so we do a lot of business.
There's several very similar searches and all.
Okay.
So is that direction?
Yeah, that's the.
yes.
So direction,
Is there a vote, a motion to vote?
is this action?
No, we'll
Is
just
there a-
give direction.
It's an action item.
Is action item?
Is that-
So is there a motion?
Yes, I motion for a firm, executive firm to.
Second?
To go out to, yeah.
To go out.
Are we going for requesting bids? I mean, request RFQs first?
Yes, yes.
You do
Well-
not need, technically, you do not need a request for proposals.
Okay.
One process could be that Carlos goes out and contacts executive search firms, asks them to submit paperwork. The one question would be whether you want somebody from the executive search firm to be present for the presentation so that you get a sense of whether there's any rapport with the person or something like that.
So there was a motion put out by Calderon Jr. Second?
Second.
Second by Romero. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor is Romero, Calderon Jr., Castillo, and myself. Well, you get clarified on that?
So next board meeting, you'll have something concrete to bring to us?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to K10, report to the governing board regarding compliance with CAL 2000 settlement agreement for trimester 1.
Just a quick update what?
Yeah. Quickie.
Just quick. Do we make it or not?
So we have to report every end of the trimester. We are in our third year of the Cal 200 settlement. And this is just stating that we have received all the logs, that teachers are holding PE. 200 minutes every 10 days.
minutes?
Yes.
And that the administrators fill out logs the days that they go out and observe that this is taking place.
Everything's looking good?
I motion to approve.
Second. So motion by Calderon Junior, second by Alvarado. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All those in favor, Romero, Calderon, Calderon Junior, Castillo, and myself, Alvarado. K11, ratification of ACT agreement for Article 19.9 salary and benefits, hourly rate, and Article 1 term of agreement 2016 through 2019, NCUSD, and ACT, CTA, NEA 2016 through 2019 agreement.
I move we approve.
I do have one question. What was, I couldn't find what the hourly rate was before. Or maybe I missed it, I don't know. 3870? It's going to
17.
17? And it's going to 40. Okay. You motion, I'll second.
So motion by Romero, second by Calderon Junior. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Was that wasn't a resolution, correct? That was just.
Oh, yeah, it was ratification.
Okay.
Yes.
So all those in favor was Romero, Calderon, Calderon Junior, Castillo, and myself, Alvarado. K12, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset technology equipment at district office and William Moreno Junior High. I move the motion.
Motion. I motion to approve.
Second by Calderon Junior. All those in favor?
Roll call.
Also resolution, roll call. Romero.
Yes.
Calderon.
Yes.
Calderon Junior. Castillo.
Yes.
Alvarado, yes. Moving on to K13. Quarterly report on Williams uniform complaint, October 31st of 2017.
I motion to approve. There's nothing to report. So.
Second.
Second, so motion by Calderon Junior, second by Romero. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those in favor is Romero, Calderon, Calderon Junior, Castillo, and myself, Alvarado. Moving on to K14. District level Title I plan for 2017-2018.
So what this is there is no LEA plan per se, because with the No Child Left Behind, we're in transition. Now the new act is the ESSA Act, the Every Student Succeeds Act. And so what we need to do is bring to the board, our district level planning documents, what it is that we're doing. And so in this particular item, there's a lot of attachments of professional development that are going on in our district with our staff.
I move we approve.
Second.
So motion by Romero, second by myself, Alvarado. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Romero, Calderon, Calderon Junior, Castillo, myself. Moving on to K15, certificated employment report. Oh, we're not gonna see, we're not gonna do anything. We're gonna go into closed session, correct? Because we weren't done. So we're gonna skip K15 and K16 for now, and we're gonna move on to L, reconvene to earlier closed session. It is now 8:57, going into closed session.